Thank you for tuning in to the War Room. I'm Phillip Lanos, and today we're here with Marco Torres of Marketing Boost. Marco, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Philip. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to this
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah, man. You know, we were talking just before record hit, and already I know this is going to be a valuable conversation for many, specifically because entrepreneurs always love hearing the uh, the rising against every obstacle and overcoming it that you yourself just told me you had been facing. And then, of course, we get to dive into your expertise, which, as we now know, is marketing. So why don't we start where I think it makes the most sense anytime you speak to an entrepreneur? Do you, Marco, come from a family of entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. And it kind of was born in me as a very young person. My dad was more of the corporate world. My mother was the more of the entrepreneur. But because my dad was not only in the corporate world, uh, he had the drive to be well, whatever. He would travel. I mean, he picked the whole family up, something none of our other siblings or cousins had ever done. We were from San Antonio, Texas, and they offered him a position in Puerto Rico. So I got a chance to grow up in Puerto Rico. He picked us all up and moved to Puerto Rico, started a family over there, or he did. And so I grew up there and had a wonderful time surfing and stuff like that when I was growing up. So by age 9, I started a paper route. And by the time I was 12, I was featured on the front page of the newspaper of San Juan, Puerto Rico, with having built the biggest route they'd ever seen. So I just found that the other day. I was going through my dad's stuff. He's passed away. And I found a folder with my name on it, went through it. There's a picture of me on the front page of the newspaper when I was 12. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool memory.
Yeah,
So,
man.
and then by
Okay.
the time I was, well, by the time I was 23, I had my brother, my mother, and I had opened 5 restaurants and a nightclub. I owned my own. So by 23, I had a nightclub and then the restaurants. Went on into the corporate world, and by the mid 90s, I got into internet marketing. So I've been an internet marketer from the very early days of internet marketing. I mean, email. Heck, I was a spammer before they called it spam.
Oh yeah, Black Hat SEO.
We were doing 100 million emails a month from a bunch of servers in my garage and every third party vendor out there. When everybody had AOL back then. You're too young to even remember. You're too young.
I actually, it's funny. I got started in the internet, like 94, 95.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
You're
My
too young for
uncle,
that.
no, I'm 33, but my uncle had actually been working for Philip Magnavox, and he had brought home something called Web TV to my dad's house. And so, you know, how everybody has the smart TVs. We essentially had this thing that looked like a VCR or a cable box that connected us to the internet. I remember Yahoo and GeoCities, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're talking OG stuff, but man, I remember how powerful the internet was. Although I wasn't an adult to be able to capitalize on it the way you had. So
Right.
that is insane because I can only imagine it was the wild, wild west, right?
Yeah, it was a wild, wild west. It was, and everybody loved it. I mean, people were paying that 19.95 a month to have access to AOL, and they wanted to see their, hear their computer being, "You've got mail." So it was like they were checking their mail and they were looking at all the ads and clicking. And the only thing back then, though, which was actually easier, nobody would buy nobody would buy online. Nobody would put a credit card on the internet. What the hell? That would put my stuff out there. Who knows where it goes? They wanted to talk to somebody, which was perfect for me. I ended up building call centers with over 4,000 telemarketers with inbound calls coming from email
Wow.
marketing, and generated literally in my career over $1 billion in sales generated from the internet since the mid 90s for myself and for other clients and for the companies that I worked for. And so that went all really well until 2008.
Yeah.
Philip, like if you don't mind, I'll share this story. Shoot, during the year from 2000 to 2008, I was working for a big corporate company, and I had sold them on hiring me to take over their internet marketing, and we grew it really from zero to $200 million a year in sales, coming from the internet, and came to a dead halt come 2008 because it was tied to an industry that came to a dead halt in 2008. Had to lay off several thousand telemarketers and people. I ended up getting fired, And I thought, hey, no problem. I'm going to bounce, I'm going to move laterally to another position just like this somewhere else. And man, it was crash and burn. And I'm going through and I'm refusing to accept that I'm going to have to start over, so I've got to, where my families were used to living a certain lifestyle, and I expected I would, I know I'm going to land laterally here soon. Shoot, before you know it, I'm having one of the best sales years I'd ever had. Those 2 years, I sold my house, my cars, my boat, my motorcycle, my furniture. I'm talking.
It took me a second to understand what you meant there. Wow, you sold everything.
Sales year ever. I sold everything. But it wasn't good, my friend. It wasn't good. Shoot, it was Craigslist was new. I'm selling all the furniture. It was like, Jesus Christ, how bad can this get? I had 7 cars in the driveway. Little by little, I'm watching them all get sold or towed away. Or it was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So I literally it got down to, victim. And here's the challenge, and anybody listening out there, if you're going through cycles, life sometimes is cycles. And for me, it's happened to be several times over where I've had to reinvent myself from scratch several times throughout my lifetime. I'm no spring chicken, as you can see if you're watching the video. And but this time around, it was really shocking to me. I'm in my late 40s and realizing it's like, whoa, completely little by little lose everything. And it felt like I was losing my dignity as well. And it was incredibly rough. Literally start from zero and eventually come back up. Then a few years later, I ended up, maybe because of that, the stress of all of that, I ended up with quadruple bypass surgery in 2015, complete rip open the heart and, do the whole shebang there. And luckily, surgeons down in Miami Beach were incredible and put me back on a pace to get back going again. And little by little, we did just that. I got into the travel space again, and we built a company called marketingboost.com today, which is incredibly successful. We help thousands of business owners with travel incentives, which is what we really are. We're a travel incentive company, and we help business owners thrive versus just survive by teaching business owners how to add value to their offers, whatever they might be, and include our travel incentives or other incentives. And we teach you how to create your own incentives based on your own products, plus maybe plug in some of the Marketing Boost incentives to whatever your call to action is, to add value versus discounting. And that has been something we've helped thousands of business owners currently around the world that pay us a small subscription fee monthly to access our incentives. And we have a Facebook group with over 28,000 entrepreneurs in the group. And we really teach business owners to have made, many of them have made tens and, hundreds of thousands of dollars thanks to the incentives that we provide. So it's been good we created a win-win-win for the resorts that we help with our marketing, which I'll tell you about in a moment. It's a win for the clients who use the incentives, that receive these bonus incentives from whatever business owner they're working with. And it's a huge win for our Marketing Boost members because they're only paying us $37 a month, and they have access to incredible travel incentives that add very high perceived value to whatever their call to action is.
When I hear all this, it just never ceases to amaze me as I listen to your story. You get back up, man. You just always get back up, and you've always been on the cutting edge of whatever is happening in the digital space. We can just see from the early days of the email campaigns to the call centers. And I'm sure there was a lot of things in between to where, including your best year ever of sales, to which, sales is a skill, man. It's the lifeblood of anything, to now helping create win-win situations. It just makes so much sense that you've reached a place where you can do that now, because it seems like you're able to spot value cycles and value areas in the entire chain that you can open up and make business from. Your brain and your mind has just been able to zone in on that after so many years of excellence. And so I have to say, given your experience and your ability to have observed how things have changed over time, what would you say is the most interesting thing that you've been able to notice about where the world is going digitally, and as businesses, how we should be paying attention to what is happening in the digital space? Because I think you're truly entitled to be able to speak to that.
Well, yeah, we've seen, the evolution of marketing. Obviously, one of the biggest challenges we all face now is it's very crowded space out there, right? But at the same token, it's super crowded. It's super busy. Nobody's got much of an attention span anymore. So it's really hard to, build a brand and get people to see you, notice you, take it. And that's one of the tools that why we, Marketing Boost helps members. But at the same token, I would say there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. There's never been so much technology available so affordably. Everything from CRM systems that, by the way, Marketing Boost provides as well. But in other words, from amazing technology, from email marketing, text messaging, voicemail broadcasting, tools like, even the social media networks out there to build databases, to build your own databases that you can build a following, whether it be on a Telegram or Facebook group, these tools are very powerful. Didn't exist just a few years ago, where you can build that following, build your core audience, and then you've got, you're the authority, you're the expert that you can reach out, you can provide content, you can keep coming back to them and reaching into that well of delivering. If you're delivering value to them over and over, you're going to be consistently generating new clients and keeping existing clients coming back for more. So, right now with the information that's available to learn from the internet, it's, YouTube, you can learn just about anything for free, or, there's so many training courses available. That's the only thing you really got to be careful for in a way is, not get that silver, what is that saying again?
Silver bullet syndrome.
Yeah, they get distracted.
Oh, the shiny object. Yeah,
shiny object. There's another shiny object. You want to go down that road and keep chasing shiny objects, but in a way, you do need to look at those shiny objects to at least analyze and see, is this something that would benefit? Would it fit? Would it help? You can't just because the evolution of marketing and the evolution of technology is moving so fast that you do need to, keep an open mind to looking into different tools and stuff that's out there that keep coming left and right. So why not be a part of it?
I see. So the most valuable thing an entrepreneur can do these days is to develop within themselves the ability to discern the opportunities, because there are plenty. You're saying it used to be there was a lack of opportunity and we did the best we could to capitalize on it. Now there's an abundance of opportunity, and now the skill is being able to identify which is the one that you can best serve.
Right. And the other thing I would say, I think this is something any business owner out there has got to do. Too many of us, I think, especially the small solopreneurs, the entrepreneurs that are working home-based businesses, they're trying to do everything themselves. And it's like they want to really, they have a fear, well, I can't afford to hire people, so I'm going to do it all myself. And man, that's a big mistake, because the more you think small, that you're not outsourcing things, that if you're going to think small, you're going to be small. So you need to, whatever you do every day on an ongoing basis, you need to turn it into a business process, and then hire somebody to do that, outsource that, get a virtual assistant. There's never been a better time in the world to do stuff like that. Because of the internet, we can find people from anywhere in the world and that can take over that function for you. So you can look at your business from 30,000 feet above and see, what move do I take next to find more prospect, to find more clients, to improve my sales team, to improve the process, to improve the automation, et cetera. And, we find ourselves trying to do it all. And then you just can't. You got to hire people that are smarter than you and are better than you at things that you're not good at. If you're not good at the technology, hire somebody to do that. Don't spend months trying to build your website when somebody else can do it in 2 days.
Yeah. No. Oh man, that's a big one right there. Thank you for dropping that gem. With young people who are thinking of going into entrepreneurship, who don't have the perspective that you have because of the benefit of experience that you come from, what would you say is the one or two most important things they need to keep in mind as they decide to venture in?
Well, have a support system of some sort. If you're going to be, to be an entrepreneur, you really need to be willing to burn the candle at both ends. And so you need to analyze to yourself, do you really have what it takes? You're going to need to be an entrepreneur. You're going to sweat it sometimes, man. You've got, bills to pay. You've got people you've hired to figure out to make enough money to make payroll. It's stressful. And so ideally you have the right spouse, you got a right partner that maybe they're continuing to work, a regular job so that there's a consistent income to pay the rent and pay put roof and food on the table, while you can afford to gamble some of your time and reinvest the money that's coming in into the new strategies, new marketing, and keep it growing and not be stressing out about the fact that we got to buy groceries. And so if you're starting out, or you've got to be willing to work two jobs. You got to work a job and build the business on the side, be it a side hustle until that side hustle can replace your job. But that means you got to be willing to work, 9 to 5 on the job and then 5 to midnight on your own product and on your own program. And that's a discipline that will pay off. It is worth it. It will pay off if you stick it out, but it can be scary, when you're on your own. So, but to do it without support or without some money in your pockets is very, very difficult. But it can be accomplished. But you've got to figure out some tools. You got to get good at sales. One thing people are afraid of is sales. A lot of people are, I'm not a salesman. Dude, you need to learn sales because everybody's business for themselves is in sales, whether they like it or not. Without sales, there's no business. There's no. So you've got to figure out how to overcome that fear of asking for the order and doing it in a way that where you're not pushy either. You've got to learn to, you've got to really find solutions that make sure your product and service is filling the need for somebody else. If it does solve a problem for somebody else, then you can feel confident to ask for the order and you'll get it. But nobody wants to, all of us love to buy stuff, but nobody wants to be sold anything. So you've got to.
That's so true, man.
Right?
So true. Oh man, I can't remember the last time I hated buying anything.
Yeah, no, we love to buy stuff, right? We love it. It feels good, but don't sell me on it because So as a salesperson, you need to, it's a fine art in making sure that you're discovering what your client or your prospect needs are. In a conversation, what is, will my product or service, is it a good fit for you? And only if it's a good fit should you be pushing and asking for the order. And when I say pushing, I mean that's where you overcome objections, and but you have the right to ask for the order and overcome objections if you truly have a solution to their problem. Right. And if not, you should be referring them off. You should be recommending they work with somebody else. You should be, it's karma will come back to you when you instead of trying to sell somebody who's not a good fit. You simply say, you know what, we probably shouldn't work together for this reason or for that reason, but let me refer you over to this people. They're going to be a better fit for you. And people are going to be blown away that you'll do that and end up referring 10 of their friends over to you because you were honest and didn't try to push them on a sale, as an example of making sure it's a good fit. And by the same token, you need to be willing to fire customers too if they're, I'll tell you what, I'm a believer the customer is not always right, believe it or not. So sometimes I've fired clients. I mean, it's like, what, we're not going to be, jumping through all these hoops for you and doing it. It never fails when you offer a huge discount to somebody. Those are the ones that you end up having to work 3 times.
Oh man,
you have to end up working twice as hard and then realize this customer was not worth the additional effort and so on and so forth. So
this is all true, man. You're dropping so many gems here. I want to make sure we get back to Marketing Boost and just like, what are some of the goals that Marketing Boost has for this year?
Yeah, let me jump into it. First of all, let you know what it is. So what we do with Marketing Boost, and our goal for this year is we're going more and more global now. But what we do is, again, we help small business owners with we're a subscription model. It's only $37 a month, and it gives you the ability to give away an unlimited amount of complimentary three different types of incentives. One being complimentary hotel stays in over 125 destinations around the world, from 3-night stays in places like Orlando, Las Vegas, Cancun, Miami, Atlanta, 30 U.S. destinations, 5-night stays in places like Cancun, Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas, Punta Cana, the Dominican Republic. Then there's 7-night stays in Phuket, Thailand, Bali, destinations all over Australia, all over Europe. And so I'll tell you in a minute if we got time. I don't know what our limitation is here, but we have the complimentary hotel stays. Then we have hotel savings cards. These work like a gift card, but they don't cover the entire hotel stay. They give you about 10 to 50% off compared to the Expedias of the world. And we have restaurant savings vouchers. So the hotel savings cards come in increments of $100, $200, $300, or $500. And so we teach our business owners how to use these incentives to help, generate leads, to add to, for example, right now, a lot of us are using Zoom, which is an amazing tool to have appointments. And so we can use an incentive to incentivize someone to book a no obligation call with me. And then I might say, if you show up on time, you book that call and show up on time, I'm going to reward you with a $200 hotel savings card. And bam, you're going to not only get more bookings, but you're going to get more people to actually show up for that Zoom call. The worst thing you can do is have your calendar all filled up with people that half of them don't show up. So the incentives can help make sure your salespeople are talking to prospects because you're incentivizing them to show up for the appointment. Then once they're on the appointment, you might drop a bigger incentive, for example, a complimentary hotel stay, 5 nights in Cancun, if you hire us for 12 months to do this product. So now you can turn it into a loyalty program and drop a bigger incentive with a bigger call to action, like saying, hey, there's no obligation to join to hire where you can go month to month with us or whatever it might be. But if you do stick it out for 12 months, here's what, on your anniversary, we're going to reward you with 6 days and 5 nights of complimentary hotel stay in Cancun on us. Now, they don't include airfare, they don't include food and beverage, and they don't include the government taxes. And right there is basically the disclaimers that you need to tell a client. So, the client's going to end up paying the government taxes because they're always going to get paid. And so there's an activation fee to use those free trips that covers the government taxes. And what we did, I'm sure we're running out of time, but how are we doing on time, Phillip?
We're good, man. Come on in. Let me know.
Yeah. So these, the way this all came about, you mentioned earlier how, you look for opportunities. This whole business came about as an accident. We have another travel company that we've had for years. We started really around 2010. And we wanted to generate testimonials, video reviews, video testimonials with people, from the beaches and resorts. And this is how Marketing Boost came about. We came up with an idea. Well, what could we do to get people? And mind you, anybody listening could use this exact tactic to generate more video testimonials for their product or service. We wanted them to be able to leverage more sales for our travel company. So we asked our clients at the peak of happiness. We did a survey. Here's the lesson. We did a survey the day after they checked into the hotel where we expected them to be the happiest. And we do the survey and say, hey, how's the hotel? You've checked in by now. How's the hotel living up to your expectation? How's our service been so far? And if they responded, give us a score of 1 to 5. How are we doing? If they gave us a 4 or 5, we would immediately, via automation, send them back a message saying, hey, would you do us a huge favor and help us spread the word about this hotel brand and this resort? Would you film a video testimonial from the pool, the bar, the beach, whatever you like best at the resort, brag about the resort and brag about our brand. If you'll do that, we'll reward you with a bonus trip, 3 nights in your choice of Las Vegas or Orlando. And then boom, within days, we were generating dozens and then hundreds of these video testimonials coming in. We were leveraging them all over our website, which turned into thousands of additional sales. And so that was, working great. And then all these people started raising their hands saying, hey, we want our free trip to Orlando or Vegas. And we're like, shit, we got to pay for these rooms. and that was and that was expensive. So we're like, now how do we solve that problem? So we went back to the resorts that we were doing business with, and we said, listen, we know you've got a problem that we can solve. Your rooms are never full. I mean, your hotel, you're full on certain weekends, holidays, peak season, special events, but 70% of the year, 30% of your rooms go empty. We can help you fill those rooms with warm bodies, couples, families that are going to spend money at the restaurant, the bar, the pool, the spa, the casino, the gift shop, excursion desks, etc. And you'll earn some revenue versus none. And we can, and so we got a few to participate with us in Orlando and Vegas to start out. And so now we were having our rooms free so that we could fulfill them with these clients that we had. And then we thought, can you imagine if we had hundreds of destinations like agreeing to do this with us? It'd be another business all by itself. And that's exactly what eventually turned into marketingboost.com. So today we're the travel incentive company that provides unlimited travel incentives for $37 a month. And we teach you how to implement them, how to position them with your offers, how to do the proper disclosure so that they're believable and they work right. And Phillip, it's just a home run. I mean, we've helped thousands of people do everything from grow their Facebook groups using incentives to generate millions in sales. So
it's
I know
amazing.
we're running out of time, but go ahead.
No. It's amazing because you can't pay people money to have that kind of activism about your brand and about what your offering is, or as a retail or hospitality location. They couldn't pay enough money in ads to get that. So it's really cool to hear that that's what you've been able to accomplish. It's just one of those things where it's like, that's where experience really does see things differently.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for breaking down exactly how you came about developing Marketing Boost too, not just what it is. And overall, you've just been a very generous and gracious person throughout the whole conversation. So I want to roll out the red carpet. And again, let's before I ask the big finale question, which we've alluded to, what is the best way for people to get a hold of you? How do you prefer that they reach out?
Sure. We got a Facebook group you can go to. It's free to join that and just search for Marketing Boost Facebook group. And or go to marketingboost.com. You can get a free trial for a 7-day free trial. And after that, it's only $37 a month to give it a whirl and check us out. By the way, one of the things that usually comes to mind, people are saying, well, are there there's no timeshare presentations, no hoops to jump through. So the program is a true win-win-win. And, you obviously need to go check it out, read about it, get a free trial, give yourself one of the incentives. By the way, I'd recommend Cancun, Mexico, unbelievable resorts we have right now in Cancun that you could give yourself and give it a shot. And so just go to marketingboost.com and give it a whirl.
Right on. Okay. And now the big finale question, nothing fancy. You're welcome to pass on it, but I hope you share with us. If you could have invited anybody today, Marco, to listen to your story, the journey, maybe even contribute to the conversation, dead or alive, who would you have had here and why?
When you told me earlier before the call that you were going to ask me this, so immediately what came to mind, and I don't even know why, but was Muhammad Ali. I would love to have Muhammad Ali on a call with the two of us, because the man was the kind of guy who, if he ever did go down, he was back up on his feet. And, he rarely went down, but let me tell you, when he did, he was back up on his feet, dancing around. And in a way, that's been me in my life, but I would have loved to hear from and have met and have talked to a winner like Muhammad Ali. And so to answer your question, man, that would have been fun.
I love that answer, because you're right. It goes hand in hand with the theme of your story, man. I mean, you're just a winner. The kind of person that gets right back up. You had your best year ever. Remember, as we talked about earlier in sales, that could not have been easy. And for most people, that would have been the end of the story. But that was only the beginning for you. And, it's funny, you've been an entrepreneur for years, and yet I'm sure it still feels like you're just getting started and getting into it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. So thank you so much for opening up, being generous, being honest, and just sharing. It's invaluable. and nobody could pay to get access to that kind of information. So thank you so much, Marco. It's been a pleasure, and I hope this isn't the last time we see you on the War Room.
Hell no. Thanks for having me, Phillip. I look forward to being back.